Good morning, good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome to the second episode of Pep Talks in the Morning. I am here with my original wingman, the girl them sugar, the man Tony Defoe. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning, Philip.
How are you? This is the team that they say too sexy for TV, so they put me on radio. Look trouble now.
Morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Yes.
Look trouble now. And we're joined in studio with a guest host this morning. She is the chairman of the Progressive Empowerment Party, Felicia Holder.
Good morning, Philip. Good morning, Tony. Good morning to your viewers. It's a happy morning. Let's start.
Listen, yesterday's first episode was me alone. So that was therapy.
That was pressure.
I say this morning, I was telling Satish, let Tony do this one alone, so you see. But I excuse him because he was in the people and them pan 3 o'clock in the morning. Interfering with renegades. But we're here today and we got a good opportunity to stress test all of it, to stress test even hosting it, so that if ever, you know that the 2 hours you could get through it.
Yeah.
You could get through it. And so I was hustling to come here, and I just wanted to throw this in the conversation early. In this lawless society, I hustling to come here and I pass a black X trail around the savannah with blue lights flashing inside the car. Inside the back windscreen and inside the front windscreen, right? He had this blue light on, flashing, inside the back windscreen, inside the front windscreen. But he is not a police car. He's an unmarked police car.
Right.
Yeah.
So those blue lights are for in case of emergency.
That's right.
So why is he blinging around the savannah this morning?
Good question. Without traffic, I'm sure.
There's no traffic.
Right.
He's just on a cruise with his blue lights on. But this is a Trinidad and Tobago where... I'm a morning voice. If you know the right people, you could have blue lights on your car. And it is insane that this is what has become of Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
To me, that's insane. That I have to ask this morning, and boy who vex could vex. Thank the holy heavens we have a commissioner of police that you could ask a question to. Thank everybody that I could, or anybody could email, WhatsApp, 482 Gary and say, what's going on here?
Yeah.
You know?
You would actually take the time to listen to the citizenry. And that's a good thing. It's almost a first. I mean, because all the commissioners before, no matter how much you try to talk or reach out, and half of the time you can't even get through to the damn man.
Thinking about the whole blue light thing, I have experienced it all too often. I mean, you're just driving through traffic, where there's traffic, no traffic. They're there and they're zipping in and you have to pull aside and you're wondering, is this an emergency or is this just one of the cases where they're late to pick up their child from school or get to work in the morning, so you have to pull aside? And it's the whole lawlessness of it.
And what a lot of people don't understand is that contributes to other people being lawless. Because if Trinidadians start to believe that everything in the country is about what you could get away with or what you could stunt with, where we going?
Very true.
Listen, and there's an appeal to everybody who have a public office, and especially one with a position of authority. Respect it. Respect yourself. Respect the flag, respect the country, respect the rules, respect the laws, respect the citizens. Let respect guide you. When you think to switch on those blue lights for no purpose, let respect guide you. When you think to turn on those blue lights because you need to get home, because you have a hot piss, let respect guide you. When you're using your blue lights to go and pick up 4 with slight, let respect guide you. Because you see, at the end of the day, you hold an office that's critical to the management of the nation. And people must respect those blue lights when they come on. Don't use them for bling.
Very true.
Don't use them for stunting.
Yeah.
You know?
Very true. And accepting the responsibility you have, I mean, whatever is the position, whether it's sergeant, corporal, whatever, across the board, at every level, accept your responsibility. Bottom line is not just collecting a salary at the end of the month. There's a job to be done.
Amen. I feel we're preaching this morning.
Hallelujah.
Time for altar call. Time for altar call.
Listen, waking up this morning, how was that for you?
I was in trauma.
So still have his morning voice, trying to catch my bearings, but...
And Satish here since 3.
Since what?
He's a vampire.
Yeah.
Satish sleeping here now.
Satish is a vampire. You're saying that Satish's wife, one day we will pull up here and Satish's wife outside with a 2x4 for the chair. Wait and see. Wait and see.
Oh
Satish,
my gosh.
the unmaster control thinking. Should I edit that out before I get in trouble when I get home? Trinidad and Tobago, the purpose of this show is to accelerate. This 2020, we said we're coming out the gates and we're accelerating the amount of things that we've done since January 2nd. It's like a whole year
Yeah.
passed in January. I mean, we're embroiled in, I want to say, lawsuits now with the Urban Development Company of Trinidad and Tobago, who are of the view that they don't have to answer to anybody. That even though that they are a creature of the Constitution, they are a creature of taxpayers' funds, that they are wholly and solely 100% state organization, and this is state right here. All of you watching it, unless you're here on a visa or
Work permit.
passing on a breadfruit leaf, the state, you spend we money. So if we ask, "Oi, that sound a little bit off kilter,"
Yeah.
the people in the construction industry say, "Pump your brakes a little bit, son. 60 million for electrical, sounding a bit high." It may not have been in the start that we are attacking you. You could have been an innocent victim to an unscrupulous electrical contractor and an incompetent team that gave out the contract. We don't know. We don't know where the problem started and where it ended. $51 million for doors, $78 million to plaster and paint. And at the end of the day, when the state asks questions of the state, the second state don't get to use the courts to shut the first state up that funding you. Without our taxes and our money, you the God, is a bunch of people playing let's see what we could make with our paper clips. The function of all state organizations is to the best interest of the citizenry, manage and steward the resources. Yeah?
Correct.
To get us to a place where the country feels like it's being run by people who have an idea what they're trying to do.
But this is it.
Tell them.
But the point that you made before, as far as the state not wanting the state or giving
That's it's your ridiculous statement that is.
This is it.
You're trying to
Man.
keep exactly.
This is it. And that is totally beyond me, and it's totally unacceptable as well. And Trinidad and Tobago, you shouldn't have that. You should not allow that to be acceptable.
We're going to stick a pin because that's going to be continuing. But that is one of the things that happened since we started this year, that the Progressive Empowerment Party has said, we looked around. Wait, nobody's taking care of these things. We will. We're not in office yet, but we will demonstrate to the citizenry that the tail do wag the dog. That according to the Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, before priest, pundit, president, prime minister, or police, is the people. 1.4 million are we. And the day, hear me, the day we forget the nonsense they break with mind with black and Indian and who don't vote and who like it so and all that nonsense, the day we forget that and hold hands as one people under one flag, you will see how quickly all those who get state money start to do the job according to the will of the people of Trinidad and Tobago as it should be.
Well said. Nah,
I woke up this morning, I was thinking it was kind of hot.
well, you come out hot today.
And then I was thinking, if I was in the studio, I wouldn't be hot because Satish would have the air condition on 17. But I encountered it on 24.
And that was his way of saying, Satish,
Lord,
please take down the AC this morning.
this whole week we're probably going to be testing our systems. We're going to be introducing third and fourth camera angles. We're just literally testing the system because this week, yesterday, we and Satish and the crew debuted our ability to go live, take breaks live on social media, and that's a big step.
Yeah.
That's a big step. So it allows advertisers, those of you out there who want to put your business in front of the 20, 30, 40,000 eyeballs that sees these shows, who are critical thinkers, who you could convince to buy from you instead of your competitor. Reach out and ring Felicia 769-4590. Yeah? And give out your number there, bold.
Yeah, but no, you've been doing it, so call me if you want to advertise on, well, Pep Talks, I was about to say Plain Talk. Plain Talk is our night. You should look at things we doing now.
A lot of things.
Yeah.
We're doing a lot of things.
Man.
This week's episode of Plain Talk actually is going to feature an ex-Prime Minister. Stand by. Stand by. We all know we ask the serious questions and we talk the talk that nobody else is talking. And the Trinidadians who were walking around before thinking it can't fix, they have nobody to fix it, nobody doing it, or the one that I love to hear is, boy, you all say the things that have been going on in my head for years. And I just wonder why so many people is walking around with it in their head and then try just to say it. But it comes down to getting the job done.
Well, that is it, and not staying quiet anymore. Know your rights. Know what I mean. You see something wrong, open your mouth, say something. We can't stay in closed doors behind the alley or in the gallery talking to friends and family anymore. We have to bring it out into the public space. Let the people know we are on the same page, because we are suffering the same way. Everybody in the same traffic, you know. Everybody dealing with the same defective healthcare system. Everybody dealing with the crime situation. I mean, it's a host of things on a national level everybody is dealing with. What do you say there, Felicia?
That's true. Philip, do I got to set the topic of
You do your thing,
because
man.
No. This my topic not so fun though. The last thing that I read before I went to bed last night, and I said I wanted to talk about it on the show this morning. Everybody was talking about it yesterday. Was the death of that little
Oh
baby
gosh.
girl.
That's
If I knew it was raising that come up. That'd come up.
No, listen,
And people send the pictures, boy. That vexed
I
me.
don't like when Trinidad.
No, but that vexed me. I mean, I open the and I see a man hanging, and I say, "Oh God, man, come on!"
Yeah. But that is a serious situation that we are dealing with on the ground in Trinidad and Tobago, because there's a several-fold situation. Simply because, one, we're dealing with a population that is under major stress. One. And that's because of the deficiency we live as citizens. Our dollar not having value and everything else not working in itself. You're calling police or ambulance or what the case might be. We're not getting the help or assistance that we need as a citizenry. There's one fold. You have the other fold where we are also dealing with a population that we have a lot of, not certifiably crazy people, but people who are supposed to have some type of...
Yeah, but before you go there, where are those people supposed to go? Where are they supposed to go?
Well, again,
we have at the very best scant regard for mental illness in this country. At the worst,
very true.
At the worst, we treat people with mental illnesses with scorn and ridicule. Mad people, crazy people.
Yeah.
That's how we behave. St. Anne's. Go St. Anne's this morning. Go to St. Anne's in the vicinity of the madhouse. That's what we call it. We call it the madhouse.
Yeah.
We have no regard for people with mental illness, and mental illness is a real and serious issue.
Very real, and there are people walking the road with mental illness that has not been diagnosed, and no one knows.
And
we're not talking about your ex-wives. We're talking...
Listen now, man. Oh gosh, it's too early.
I'm waiting to see the phone light up.
You seem very proud of that joke that you're not cracking.
Yeah, because no, but serious. No, the way he said he walk in the road is like you know that.
No, listen, but this is a serious issue, mental health, and in reading that article, I mean, everybody from his neighbors to his mother to the child's parents. To the child's mother, could all attest to the fact that this man has a pattern of physically abusing
and again,
children.
Where was the paper trail from all those reports? Where was the follow-up from the state, whether it be the police systems?
And I have to say, Commissioner Gary Griffin, and I say this to you, Felicia Hula, to you, listen, that whatever child protective unit or family unit that you have of the police service, they really need to step it up and do better, because it's not the first time I've heard about cases being reported and nothing happening, no follow-up. I mean, it bothers me so much to hear children being abused.
Yeah, that is absolutely crazy.
And you said it earlier, parents, some of them, they don't know how to deal with their stress and to taking out their frustrations on children. And a normal person or regular Joe in society will say, well, if you can't take care of them, what are you making them for? And that's how we treat problems in our society. Instead of we treat the root cause, or we look at what could be happening inside of the person's
I love
head,
what you just said there.
in their home, what they were exposed to, because we don't know what kind of lifestyle they grew up with, and the fact that the father, and this is not me, it's not picking up for him or anything, but the fact that he had to hang himself, I mean, he was clearly not, he knew he had to
Listen, when it dawned on him what he did, he couldn't live with that.
He couldn't. But as a father, nobody could be able to live with
But
that.
then this is Trinidad, where if you can't prosecute the thing right, if we can't do the thing the way it's supposed to be, we'll do it in the public space, or people putting out all the information. The man is a be the wife, he's a be the children, nobody knows the truth. The only them who was in it know the truth this morning. But the fact that we have nothing like a social development master plan, so even us here this morning couldn't tell him who to go to.
Yeah, very true.
That's true.
Very, very
If
true.
he had called for advice, where to send him? Your MP? Where to send him? The Alsing? Amazon and Apple pulled out of the biggest tech show in the world yesterday, sending rumbles through the entire event that attracts hundreds of thousands of people because of the coronavirus scare. And our own Dr. Jekyll has no interest in treating with the realities. But this is what happens when you appoint a pharmaceutical sales rep as your Minister of Health. He has no clue, and what's worse, he has no clue that he has no clue. And that's a problem when you're dealing with something serious. Normally, we all allow Terence D'Alsing to go off on his little merry frolics, and we ignore him. But this is a serious issue.
Yeah.
And we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, are being put at risk because we have a moron for a Minister of Health. And I would call on the Prime Minister, but he appointed him. And the Prime Minister has to be hearing him. So it's either the Prime Minister is incapable, incompetent, or in cahoots with the Minister of Health and doesn't care. That a wine and a bumsy is more important than the health and safety of the country. And we are going to watch this unfold. Because we play this game in Trinidad and Tobago where we play chicken with important things. They have people rooting for it to prove the point. You see, 19 people have it, all it was wrong. And there are other people willing to whine and get drunk and laugh and say, you see, God is a Trini, don't take nothing seriously. Until something serious comes. This is not about crying wolf. It's a global pandemic. The World Health Organization has added their voice. If anybody is going to be ridiculed for it, it is them. And they can't afford that. So, my advice again to this government, if it is willing to be advised, is to err on the side of caution. And it is time to take a long, hard, serious look at this coronavirus issue and decide if our 15,000 half-naked revelers on Arapita Avenue worth putting the rest of the country at risk.
Well said, and you're absolutely correct.
I was channeling my inner Bilma.
No, but there's no proactive measures being taken place by the state, especially to safeguard the citizenry. You have a time like Carnival right now, you're bringing in almost 50,000 visitors to the shores. And mind you, yes, we have a great potential in having within our financial pot from this venture, from this festival, up to close to $400 million, maybe even $500 million.
What are you
As a
talking about?
potential.
We
This-
making money for Carnival.
Well, so they say. That's the reports that's in the public space as far as the past. I think last year we clocked somewhere around $300 million that was made and spent, I should say, by visitors coming into Trinidad and Tobago. It's
$300 million spent on an event that costs us $1 billion net
It
loss.
cost us $1 million.
I was
Net-
about to say
net
that.
loss.
Isn't NCC
Yes.
in
Net loss.
in debt right now?
Yeah.
Go and watch
They
the
don't-
contract putting up them parlor around the savannah.
Yes.
That is a eater food. Putting up them parlor around the savannah is a eater food because the people who will operate them parlors for the week of Carnival, they're not making the money that it costs to build the parlor above their head. It would be better if you had just call on
Dish
Yeah,
out
just the show. Just the show.
all the parlor renters. Hold our money.
Yeah.
So you don't rent and we don't spend. So just hold our money and we win.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense. The bands that jumping around the savannah, they don't want to buy your kiss cake and your carrot.
But that's an interesting point that you made. Whereas we spend almost $1 billion to host this festival and event, and we make a fraction of that as to say, what's the spend on the shores of Trinidad and Tobago now? Is it really worth it? Have anyone taken the time to push further development of this festival time that we present to the world? No, we basically has had it deteriorate over the years, and we've seen the numbers go down. The quality of mass has gone down. The experience in itself has gone down. So what it is we really do in Trinidad and Tobago, and again we come back to the same coronavirus during this season where we have an influx of 40,000 foreigners coming to the shores of Trinidad and Tobago. We have no idea where these people originate from, whether they are from Asia, whether they are from Europe, North America, if they've been exposed in connecting flights, or what the case might be. But again, what is the systems being put in place at our ports, whether it be the seaports or airports? What's the quarantine areas? What's
Man
the
was
actual
screaming.
plan?
He was eyeballing them. He was eyeballing them.
And it's the place.
You look like you have a coronavirus.
I read. Why are you going on with you?
No, but the man said the man said they're screening, and people coming out the plane and telling me, boss, nobody even watching me. They're screening. They're lying to you. And they're lying about, and at a time that it is something very serious.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what Duke had done that day, going up to the airport and having his little thing that he put out there for the workers, indicating that the state has to give them some type of protection. I mean, the man was right, standing that ground, at least seeking the interest of the employee. Now, it's sad to say, the state did not take that first initiative. That's worrisome for me. It's worrisome for me. It's because our people are frontline defense in every area, in every field. So why are we not still trying to, or why aren't we trying to be proactive, period? These are people who really do not know what to do in running a country and having the proper responsibility.
No, because you see, if you're going to have the conversation now, the PNM trolls have to argue about the UNC trolls, and the UNC trolls, they could be coughing themselves to death at the side of the road. In the middle of a plague and talking PNM, UNC stupidness,
Yeah. And
that's what holds those two failed and corrupt institutions up. That they still have a handful of people willing to beat the chest, rend the garment, pull out the hair.
Great, boy, Olivia Wallace, I don't want to hear that again, you know. You want to I feel that hit my head on a brick.
I see you had some talks with a certain
minister. Well, yes, girl.
I would, anyway, maybe that's an off-air conversation.
Yeah, that might have to be an off-air conversation.
Because I'm trying to figure out what on earth could this man say to bring any enlightenment.
Well, that's it. He didn't bring no enlightenment. He was just on his whole propaganda campaign, I have to say, skin and teeth, pretending he's shaking and kissing babies, and woo, he there to support the celebration, man. But at the end of the day, this is a man who is within the national security framework or where the laws are concerned, because we are talking about our AG people. Saw him in Panorama on Sunday. I don't know, boy, as a citizen, it make me cringe. This is a man skin and teeth with the citizenry that's taking away, eroding away our democracies, taking away our rights. Allowing certain things to take place in Trinidad and Tobago, that the who's holding the shitty under the stick is still the people in itself, and he's happy-go-lucky. I could not take a picture with him, I could not shake his hand, I could not have approached him, because in my mind, I was
not wearing a leotard too.
You want jokes this morning?
I will say this though. I am very glad you did not take a picture with Paris Al-Rawi.
No.
I would have been actually very disappointed if you did, because he's totally everything that we are not. That's one. And two, I would be smiling and skin and teeth if I was collecting millions of dollars in rent for doing nothing. I would be kissing all the babies. Even if we have the coronavirus.
Yes.
No, but seriously. In all honesty, the reality of the situation is these people have a responsibility, and again, Trinidad needs the recall law so desperately, because if you end up with a ninny for an attorney general, you're supposed to be able to make a protest and to file an application to have him removed.
But not only that,
we've had ministers that we should have been able to file application and been committed.
But that in itself is a simple solution, and that is the overall overarching solution towards that. But the nitty-gritty of it is the systems, once that recall is in place, as to how are we able as citizens to quantify if a sitting MP or office holder is doing the job as a betterment for the population in itself. This is something that we have to basically scrutinize and see how we're gonna. What was going on with?
I don't know.
What are you doing?
What is
here?
happening?
My chair was lower than your chair. Why was my chair lower than your chair?
You sure it's his chair or is it just the arm?
It was the,
I
I
was
don't
sitting
know.
there first,
So you were trying to be shorter?
I don't know.
That's what you were going for, less? You're already 4'1". No, but I think it's better
Oh
now.
my
I think.
gosh. No man, but
Fine
seriously.
I blame the staff.
I blame Satish.
Well, that's his
I'll
staff.
leave Satish out of this.
Yes, back to what you were saying before.
No, but really,
here.
Wait, I interrupted you.
yes,
Yes.
you interrupted a bloody thing about the damn chair, man.
I was trying
Big
to.
child, you know.
I was trying to do it innocuously.
Really?
Yeah.
With all our noise.
Anyway, tester is still a test that we're basically doing Trinidad and Tobago. But anyway,
The man tell me we dressing for carnival and he come out looking like he going down wedding and have my hair like, alright.
oh gosh, I nearly bought the
That's
t-shirt.
your
Don't
wingman
worry.
thing.
Don't
Yeah,
worry.
my wingman, what's more, he's a set-up man. That's what he is.
No, but really and truly, Trinidad, we have to be very aware of the surroundings and the environment and
The-
how we are being governed.
The thing that you have to tell them is stop voting for stunts.
True.
Stop voting for stunts. Listen, I watched Faris do his little kata. I thought it was cute. But I don't want that in Attorney General. I want somebody who understands the law. Faris has so far built a losing streak that will never be equaled. I think you would have to put an empty thermos as AG for it to lose as many cases as Faris.
Yeah.
He's demonstrated an incompetence second to none. Somebody said,
but it's real.
no, but somebody said on his evaluation, it says this fool has reached rock bottom and has started to dig.
Oi.
Hey, listen, you have to laugh. Somebody tell me if you don't laugh in Trinidad and Tobago, you'll cry. You might,
Yeah,
you might
cry,
send
you'll
yourself
cry.
mad.
You'll cry.
You might cause mental illness.
You'll cry. You'll cry.
We can't continue to have a parliament spend millions of dollars writing laws. They're reaching a court for the judge to say, but this doesn't make sense. Hire a judge. Hire a judge to read the case. Who is deciding what they're passing as law? When you look at the costs of these things, take for example Section 34 that the entire parliament voted on. And what you'll ever forget is that the PNM that marched against Section 34 voted for Section 34, and that will always remind me that it is games these people playing. But there are millions of dollars spent in man hours writing a law and getting it to be passed into law. And when that law fails, you have to accept these people should not be writing law.
Yeah. Because it's a loss to you, Trinidad. Because it's your money.
It's
being
a
spent.
material financial loss.
Yeah.
And it's making us all look like fools.
But at the end of it, in the term that you spend in government, you're supposed to make some kind of progress and advancement. What do we have in terms of laws to say we have brought for the people of Trinidad and Tobago, the anti-gang bill legislation?
There is a rehash and a reversion. That is anti-gang remix for 2020.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. We creating ways to remove civil rights and civil liberties and human rights because we don't understand how to treat.
Deal.
Yeah, we have people in office that don't understand how to deal. When I look at Gary Griffith sitting with these people, because I know how capable Gary is, and I look at him sitting next to Stuart Young and I'm thinking, what does Gary think, boy? What does he think? What does he think? Because Stuart Young is so incapable. Faris Al-Rawi is so incompetent. I mean, Colman, come on. You have to be going for this. You had to have set off to ruin this country. This can't be accidental. This had to have been your goal. Let me see if I can destroy this economy in 5 years. You've done it.
Well done.
Well done, Colm. Well done. You hit your marks. You hit all your marks. And you stuck the landing. Because this morning, we woke up in a country where the value of our money is less than the toilet paper that it buys.
Truth.
When you refer to a term in office, that is why we need recall. There must be a constant running report card that the people who put you there, because this morning, the people of Trinidad and Tobago who voted for the PNM hard pressed to say they vote PNM, you know. They wanted to deny.
Yeah. A large portion of them. want to deny. But
And like the UNC supporters, they don't want to come out in public. Hiding their face here.
what is really going on with the UNC on a whole? You're not hearing anything from them. You're not seeing anything from them. They are not in the public space or brokering any type of sanity for the people or on the people's behalf. Your name opposition. I mean, what is your purpose? What is really going on? So many people right now are saying that the PEP is actually the ones that's in opposition or is speaking on behalf of the people. And we're not even in office yet.
Indeed.
Because we're raising the issues that the UNC
We are the only ones
neglecting.
raising the issue. That's right. That's right.
We were the only ones speaking out on the Red House. We were the only ones speaking out on the President's House.
Mm-hmm.
You know when the opposition let you down, Felicia? The opposition let you down over that Blue Note scandal. It's a scandal that we've not had yet. But it's a scandal we due to have because somebody has to ask the questions. Where is the final report on the Blue Notes? Was it laid in the Parliament? That it was $18 billion in Blue Notes printed and $14 billion was exchanged in the economy. So we have $4 billion locked up in a vault in President's House. That's why we spend the $106 million. I don't know. Nobody knows. It's government on policy on the hoof. Government by VAPs. You wake up one morning and they say, we write a new law, your money has no value. Line up tomorrow. And we like lemmings, like peons, like punks, lining up to change with money because somebody decide they're going to practice law enforcement in our currency. I mean, it is so absurd. It is so obscene. It is so ridiculous what has passed. And to see the government galloping away with this foolishness, I tell you, every time I turn on the Parliament channel, I expect it to start with Once Upon a Time. Because it's not real.
All theatrics.
What's upon a time?
No, but once upon a time there was a prime minister who thought he knew.
Oh my God! You can't get it out one day. Just slip that right in. I love it. I love it. Once upon a time. That's how it should start.
My wingman, you know. You see? We got mashed him up with this show. That carnival pass. This show.
Oh my
But when dead badly wounded, we. Listen, talk your talk.
But it's real. It is real. Once upon a time, the Parliament challenge, definitely you need to check that out. Trinidad and Tobago. You would kind of have some semblance of the level of insanity that we have as people trying to run our nation. It's not making sense. It's not making sense. I will always revert back to the 21 policies of the Progressive Empowerment Party. Scrutinize that document, scrutinize it, Trinidad and Tobago. Come down 12 noon on a Saturday to the head office here in Port of Spain.
Come on if you want to meet Tony.
Oh, y'all got jokes this morning. Alright, that's okay. The tag team on my Trinidad.
Now, here what's going on. No, this is true. This show was supposed to be at 2 o'clock in the evening, you know. But because it's Tony, we have to set a time. So we tell Tony the show starts in 12, but Tony get bright, so he will come at 11. So we know that, so we plan for 10. He figured it out and he say he coming for 9. By the time it does settle, we here 6 o'clock in the morning. This show is actually for tomorrow.
Yeah, you can put your funny bone intact. Alright, I'm going to take that one. I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it for the hour now. But really and truly, we need to have a level of change. We need to have a level of sanity.
Boss man,
forward.
you're supposed to know the parliamentary agenda, the legislative agenda, the national security agenda. You need to know what is the financial what is the financial agenda, the legislation for the finance is that upholds the country, the budget. You need to know what's the plans, but you don't know. We're flying blind. I keep asking everybody. You can have more degrees than a thermometer. Answer this question. What is Trinidad and Tobago this morning? What kind of country are we? What are our goals? What are our objectives? Where are we trying to go? Nobody knows. Your Prime Minister did a 2-day, 2-part PowerPoint presentation with a dollar note on the wall behind him. It cost us a couple $1 million, and nobody know what he was trying to say.
Up to this moment, we still don't.
I bring it up. People say, "Oh, good, yeah," but remember that when he talked that crocus bag of nonsense.
Oh yeah. That is our Prime Minister.
And he comes and he talks to, you see, they know that they are appealing to a level of low information voter that not motivated to ask questions. A man tell me yesterday on a thread, well, the Queen say that we have to have a president, so we can't touch that.
What?
Sean Sunarai nearly pop a vein trying to answer this clown. Independence mean independence. And I said yesterday on the show,
Exactly.
we could rewrite that constitution and say anything. We could say anything. There's nobody outside there marking it, passing it, approving it. Nobody. It's us.
Yeah.
We go down the toilet together or we rise as a nation. They spoil that word rise. We elevate as a nation together by what we do, by what our plan is. Ask them for the plan. Ask them to show you in the manifesto decriminalizing marijuana. Ask them to show you in the last manifesto when Rowley and Imbert stand up there and pose for the nation, the Balize behind them. Ask them to show you shut down Petrotrin. Ask them to show you change the money, change the notes. We demonetize. But we demonetize to catch criminals.
Yeah.
And we catch a barber, a baji farmer, and a pundit. Or a pastor, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what we catch.
Yeah.
The entire exercise must cost me $1 billion to catch a pastor and a baji farmer.
But how come nobody is asking that in that entire exercise? If we're a known narco state, if we know that we live in a country where people say things like that, but that business going legit now because people know that they have dealings with money laundering and nefarious
that is
activities. But in that entire exercise, how come we didn't catch one business owner? We didn't catch not one business was affected.
Because you have to ask yourself this question. Did they fail or did they succeed with their hidden agenda? And that is Trinidad and Tobago. So we don't know. We don't know. So they have PNM trolls out there and they had a plan, you know. It's like the state of emergency. The UNC have people outside there boasting that the state of emergency lowered the murder rate.
Yeah.
So it dropped from 500 to 400 because there was a state of emergency. So then, what are they saying? Let the criminals run free. Put everybody in the house on a curfew and murder will end. It is stupidity. It's rampant stupidity. We've been given nothingness, vapor, vacuous and inane, baffling bullshit as government. This is what we settle for as a people. And regardless of who you are and which side of the political divide you collapse on this morning, you cannot say what works in name a thing that works.
Yeah.
Nothing. Nothing works. They break down the traffic light. A car crashed into the traffic light on the corner of Cipriani Boulevard and Tragrit Road 4.5 years ago. 4.5 years ago. So you are trying to go south on Tragrit on Colville Street, which is the street that faces Cipriani. This is a major road. This is a major access. 4.5 years, no traffic light. No traffic light.
It just came to me. I know what works in Trinidad and Tobago.
It's like, give me a drum roll.
Trinidad and Tobago.
Satish, give me a drum roll. Give me a drum roll.
Give me a drum roll, yeah.
Seriously, Satish, be the desk. Come on, man.
And what it is, Felicia?
What?
Corruption.
Yeah.
Corruption.
That works 110%. We sure
It does. And if you
that
raise,
works in
if you
Trinidad
raise
and
the issue,
Tobago.
and I mean, the fact that we could make these jokes, there's a funny place. Somebody say think to laugh while you're crying. I mean, think to cry while laughing. The fact that there is nobody, I don't know who to go to. I did a live video outside the Prime Minister's office 3 years ago to highlight a hole. The hole was as wide as 2 lanes. And it was institutional. People knew how to approach the hole depending on where you were coming at from this road. And I was filming all of the people doing the macabre dance with their cars, trying to maneuver into or out of the street. And I was filming that to show that this is the Prime Minister's office. If that pothole motivate Rohan Sinanan and crew to come and fix it, you in Point 14, behind God back, you think them study, that them have you to study?
Yeah.
That weekend, my inbox, I get 100 pictures. Everybody stopped to take pictures. Them fellas who was fixing the road must feel like celebrities. Because they they dumped the whole city corporation on that corner. Serious. And they fixed the Jesus out of that hole.
What I see as a nice initiative, and again, it's just the people taking things into their own hands, like the Arangwes Taxi Drivers Association. You see ever so often on that Arangwes stretch, where there's a pothole, you would see a couple cones and a sign. Another project by Arangwes Taxi Drivers Association, and that in itself, again.
In 2014, we fixed a hole in Mount Coco Road because people was complaining, and Keith Rowley's member of parliament, he didn't care, and the opposition, the government, they didn't care. And me and my son, and Colin Hamilton, and Tim Timal, who's on Synergy TV right now. You see the picture? The fat man handing the bottle of water? That's Tim. We went and fixed that hole. We buy the gravel, we buy the cement from Northern Hardware, we mix it up there, we borrow 2 shovels and a hose, mix it right there and fix it.
You see?
What is the point of government?
What is the point of government?
Blue lights. Blue lights. You get a good parking spot when you go to cricket.
Teachers by Garcia for help. They say Barrett area summer school is like a war zone. You heard about these students?
You begging, you did better off begging the doubles man for help.
Or maybe in Sawas.
Was it? But go and beg the taxi driver association.
Yeah, no,
you let them run bad. No, but what is going on there?
It's like waking in a penitentiary. Guards patrol the school at students. I didn't read the article, but I heard of
that's not worse than the school at changing louvers and putting concrete louvers because bullets was coming in the school in Port of Spain South.
A student was raped at the back of the school.
What?
Yeah. A student.
Student on student, or this is an adult on a student, or what? How did that
I don't
go?
think it was an adult. It's just they speaking about the numerous incidents.
They going on. They listen. You. I have to be careful. I have to couch my words. But how come no parent they run amok in this place yet? How you sending your child into these when you drop your child by a school? There is a contract that has just been exchanged, that you are now responsible for this child. This is a minor. How come they ain't jailing teachers? The Minister of Education, he deserve a night. Listen, you are responsible. You tell me somebody's child get raped in the school?
A Form 3 pupil was raped in a secluded area at the back of the school, and other people get upset with the teacher, broke her windscreen with a rock.
Because of the rape?
No. This is just
the school gone mad.
The school gone mad.
Okay,
it is
but
a literal.
What was the result of the child getting raped? What happened there? Anything?
Not seeing anything here. But
where is the Parent Teachers Association of Trinidad and Tobago? Do y'all exist? Do y'all care? A little girl's life was just ruined. Where are all the marching bands of women's organizations that marched on area to get girls to wear shoes? Girl shoes.
For comments, an education ministry officials said that there has been a general decline in school violence, but some acts are being perpetrated by a handful of students who are intent on being disruptive, and we do have to deal with this in a decisive manner.
They're talking about the whole school or the education system?
I think it has to be the education system.
But it doesn't make sense. They have a band of students roving through all schools.
Clearly.
The statement makes no sense.
It makes no sense, and it's just a cover and hide.
Pelton words. Spin.
Yeah. Because, I mean, in the past couple of months, we've heard a lot happening in terms of school violence, and
the report card of the Minister of Education is failed.
I stopped.
Big F. He's a F plus.
I was in Port of Spain
F minus
Thursday on the corner of Frederick and Park Street, watching a band of students. When I tell you a band, it's about 30, 40 of them fighting on Park Street. Police vehicles passing, put on their sirens, and back in the days, well, my day, when you see police, everybody, no, these trying bold and they brazen, and officers literally had to come out and
but it's the collapse of law and order.
But it is the collapse, and it's reflective, and what a lot of people don't understand is, that's not my child, or I don't have to deal with them, or my child not going to school. They are still part of society, and these children have to grow up.
We're
and
dealing
be
with
integrated.
minors. You have a children's authority. Where is the children's authority? The Minister of Education is a damn fool. Every time he opens his mouth, I know I am not the only person who's been thinking put a sock in it. Every time he speaks, he talks nonsense. And I think that is deliberate, that they've put him there to anger us so we don't realize they're thieving money. But the truth of the matter is we cannot continue like this, and we cannot continue. You cannot vote for another political party who does not tell you that their first act, this PNM, go and tell Rowley today, write recall as a law with the same alacrity and speed you all unwrit Section 34.
Yeah.
Because if the PNM and the UNC not prepared today, you see, this is the double down in the bet. Write a law of recall so they could fire you if you're not doing the job. And the PEP don't even need to come into all your politics. Write a law of recall, but you wouldn't, because you're damnable. You all know your responsibility. You damn well know. And that little, you see, and to the people who's come on the walls to distract, when I tell you it is the government's responsibility when a man beat that child to death and hang himself, this old girl that get raped, that is failure of government to govern. We live in a madhouse, a cesspool. This is people, children. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're taking your calls on 682-2110, 688-4812, 347-4737. That whole thing, Hammy begs.
Antel is Trinidad's most reliable and technically experienced ICT company, providers of quality structured cabling, Cat6 data fiber and power cables. We also stock cabling infrastructure basket-type cable trays for server rooms and data centers. Antel also installs and maintains video security systems including cameras, alarms and electronic entrance locks for businesses and residential properties. Call Antel 674-1406 or 783-9250.
Trinidad and Tobago is in a crisis. For far too long, our people have been abused and silenced by our politicians and the business elite.
Just look around you. People are losing their jobs. Crime is at an all-time high. Our justice, education, and health systems have failed.
We all know the truth behind all that is wrong in our country. Corruption is destroying us. Billions of our dollars are being looted by a small group of business people that use our politicians to divide and distract us,
so they can take what they want, leaving us with no hope for a better country.
All of this is because we've never had leaders who seek the interests of the citizenry as their first priority.
I am here because I'm not taking it anymore.
I am here because I am not taking it anymore.
I am fed up of politics as it is in Trinidad and Tobago.
It is time we elect leaders with the backbone and the love of our people to go after the corrupt, evil elements in our country, hell-bent on serving their own pockets while we suffer.
And it is time that we as a nation take a collective stand against wrongdoing.
So we are making a plea to the nation to rally behind us.
Because our freedom of speech is being threatened by those who don't want us speaking out on these issues.
A man that I greatly respect is one of those leaders fighting for a better country. His name is Philip Edward Alexander, and he has bravely challenged the people and institutions that are destroying our nation.
To date, he has been threatened with 5 lawsuits for having the courage to ask state agency UDCOT on why the renovations of the President's house cost $89 million.
When experts in the field have estimated that that job should have never crossed 20 million.
Where did the rest of our money go?
We refuse to stand by and allow any agency to use our courts to try and silence and punish Philip or any other citizen of our country for trying to seek the truth.
If you're fed up of corruption and want to be a part of real change, support Philip and the Progressive Empowerment Party in this fight.
This fight is not for him or us to bear alone.
It is a fight for you, our loved ones, and our friends.
It is a fight for the future of our country.
You can help by making a contribution to Philip's legal fees and help him and PEP expose the truth and shine light over the darkness of corruption.
Go to our website at peptt.com, click on donate and see all the ways you can pitch in.
There is hope. Our country can be saved, but we all need to stand together. My name is Felicia Holder,
Chairman of the Progressive Empowerment Party, and I support Philip Edward Alexander and the PEP.
I support Philip Edward Alexander and the PEP.
I support Philip Edward Alexander and the PEP.
I support.
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 I support Philip Edward Alexander and the PEP.
Yes, Trinidad and Tobago, welcome back again. A second episode, a test episode actually, of Pep Talks. We are going to be opening up the lines and take these numbers down: 347-4737, 688-4012, 682-2110. Give us a call. Let's bring you in on the whole mix of things. Let's interact. Let's hear what's happening in your neck of the woods. Again, Trinidad and Tobago, you know, this is all for you, all for you, all for you. Trinidad and Tobago, we're trying to bring some real change, make some sanity from the madness that's taking place that we live in. You know, 24/7, 365. It's doesn't make sense. We can do better. So again, give us a call, 347-4737, 688-4012, 682-2110. Let's hear from you, Trinidad. So,
coronaviruses. First of all, I had to tell the people who was part of the conspiracy, if this is a new virus, how come it on Dettol? How come it on Lysol? All the flus that you've ever known were coronaviruses. That is the catch-all name. SARS was a coronavirus. That's why coronavirus is on everything. We never had to discuss it before because for some reason everybody got their own name, but this one qualified to be called a coronavirus. Let me read this there. Coronaviruses have been responsible for respiratory illnesses among human populations in the past. Oh, we get a call. So, good morning, you're live. Welcome to Pep Talks in the morning.
Yes, good morning, Philip, and your co-host.
Morning.
Morning.
Congratulations on your new trial runs of your program, very interesting.
Thank you.
Just a little input as far as the murders and stuff that took place yesterday. I think due to bad management of the country, we will be seeing a lot more of those incidents occurring, because people are becoming very desperate, and unfortunately that's where our country is currently heading. Thank you all and have a nice day.
Thanks a lot for that. 11 people killed in 24 hours. 11 people killed in 24 hours, and they attack Gary. You know, where's Super Gary? Should have touched down at every one of those scenes and take the gun out of the man's hand before. But the truth of the matter is, again, it is a failure of government to govern. But I was trying to get into a point about the coronavirus. So SARS was a coronavirus. Anyway, what you need to know. What are the symptoms of the new virus? The symptoms that the new virus causes can mirror the common cold or other mild respiratory infections. One should look out for fever, cough, sore throat, general body aches, and in some cases diarrhea and vomiting. Pay special attention to symptoms such as shortness of breath, extreme weakness, or prolonged diarrhea or vomiting, especially among the elderly and children, as these are signs of more severe illness and should prompt an urgent visit to the nearest emergency room. It is worth noting that in the US and Europe, it is the middle of influenza season right now, so it is not uncommon at all for people to have flu-like symptoms such as these because of an influenza infection or an infection with one of several other circulating viruses that cause an influenza-like illness. The need to take preventative measures against all flu-like illness is therefore of paramount importance. Prevention. How do we stop it spreading? There are several very basic steps that the general population can take to limit the spread of respiratory diseases of any kind, including the novel coronavirus. These include washing your hands well and often with water and soap. The practice should be observed especially after coughing, sneezing, and using toilets. 2. Using tissue when coughing and sneezing and covering your mouth and nose fully with it to prevent dispersion of infectious droplets. Once the tissue is used, dispose of it in a waste basket and wash your hands. 3. Avoid the temptation to touch your eyes, nose, and mouth with hands that haven't just been washed. You know, when I found out the number one transmission of the common cold is through your air, that people get, like they touch something or they touch somebody and it is transmitted to their hand, and then they touch their own air. Ear and eyes. You rub your eyes. Give yourself the goal. Wearing face masks if you are sick, visiting sick patients, or if you are ill and unavoidably have to travel through crowded places. 5. Maintaining the other healthy habits such as a balanced diet, physical activity, and adequate sleep. 6. Washing vegetables and fruits well before consuming. 7. Avoiding as much as possible contact with infected people or using their personal belongings. If you have diabetes, renal failure, heart disease, chronic lung disease, or immunodeficiency, you should more so observe the above advice, as you are more susceptible to contracting the advice and succumbing to its complications. When they say succumbing to the complications, they mean die. And that is who needs to be concerned. People who have challenged immune systems. And that includes the ill, the elderly, the infirm, and small children. And people need to take this thing very seriously.
Yeah.
I find we're playing with this one.
We are. Because it's being treated as a normal cold and not realizing that it can have some serious ramifications at the end of it.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
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 Morning, you guys.
Morning.
Yes, morning, Felicia. I would like to see you for the next Prime Minister in 2025. Anyhow, I'm a father of an autistic child, and my heart really goes out because it's very, very hard to be taking care of a disabled child who child with autistic, because them have a brain of them own, them think something of them own. So these things they really have to be looking after children, these especially children, because you can tell them one thing now and they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it. They have a mind set of them own. And dealing with children is so hard and frustrated. But yet still, father doesn't have to do that.
Do you all,
certain things like the institution in Trinidad that they could probably go by, but the institution is too expensive. Because my son's school fee is $5,400 a term. And as a father with 2 breakfasts, thank God for the mother weekend.
Tell me something. Are there any state organizations that assist? Do you get any disability grant, anything like that?
No disability grant, but what happened is that the government pay a percentage of the school fee. I'm not sure exactly how much it is.
They pay a percentage of the school fees?
Yeah, but we have to pay the other rest. Like, half or more than half we have to pay.
$5,400 a term. So what happens if you don't have the $5,400? Or the half of the $5,400? What happens then?
Well, if you don't have that money to get into the school, well, there's a problem. And then again, I live in Sugarlands West. The school is in Trinity Mall. It's close to Trinity Mall. My school is strategic learning institution. So
Are there
that transport alone will be heavy.
Are there any offices of state that are assisting?
No.
When you said that he could go to places, what places could he have gone to?
No, this is the school that my son goes to.
Forget his school. No, you said that there were institutions that he could have gone to. Who do you turn to? Who do you turn to for help and support?
Well, right now, I have been on the mother back.
No, I'm talking about state-wise, government-wise, nationally.
No, nobody. It's just the school itself, it's very dependent on.
So there are no...
that's still the university.
I'm getting that, but I'm asking you, there are no offices of state that people with autistic children could reach out to for support and assistance?
None that I know of.
Thanks a lot, my friend.
Okay, thanks.
And that is the reality.
And you know what the trolls will say? Don't have autistic children!
Yeah.
Like you have that power to...
Like you could know in advance.
Yeah.
Like it's a choice.
But that is really hard in itself. We're just dealing with too many issues. Too many issues that we're dealing with right now.
You live in a shithole.
And it's real.
You live in a rat hole. I want the President of the Republic to hear me say you live in a failed nation. That the $106 million that was spent on President's house could have been spent creating assistance for families with autistic children. In this country, we live by who feel it, no. Nobody outside there in any office of state seems to give a damn. But you want pride in your lit up old house. That was so disgusting. The $500 million spent on a red house that nobody needs, that is going to cost us millions of dollars a year in maintenance, or it will collapse again, that old house. That $500 million could have been used to create support systems for people with autistic children. And that's just one thing. That's just one thing. That's just one thing that could have been addressed with this money that was spent so heartlessly.
Yeah. $500 million.
That president,
89 million.
that president's legacy is tied to Gary Hunt. Every time I see Gary Hunt, I think this is the jackass that sold the nation a $2 million flag. This one. He'll never be anything other. He could cure cancer. He'll be the jackass that cured cancer that sold the nation a $2 million flag. This president proved that she was so out of touch. I mean, I read Marie Antoinette in the entire statement that they made cake. And a bread, eat cake.
Imagine that.
Out of touch. Completely out of touch. National pride. All right, okay, let's have a lottery to see which among the plebs could come and look in the window. How we 106 million spend.
Yeah. What is that? What is that? What is that?
Your country's a circus.
They didn't even blink at that.
You have clowns in office.
Literally.
You have clowns in office. The Progressive Empowerment Party tells the nation, abolish the office of presidency. Abolish the office of the president. We don't need a president. It's a waste of money. It's a stunt office. All of the roles and responsibilities of the president could be shared between the president and the Senate and the Chief Justice. So why do we have a stunt office? Why? The $106 million that was just spent on President's house was an absolute waste, especially when one considers the president doesn't want to live there. So what was the point? I drive past it every night and look at something else to burn electricity for the people to pay. Something else. Another insult where governance should be. We had a functional parliament in the waterfront. The space is not the issue. It is the actors in the theatre that matter. And if the people that make up your parliament are so full of shit that they are incapable of delivering proper governance, no matter where you put them, you could load them all in the shuttle and send them to the moon once a week. You're not getting good governance out of that. You have to stop electing clowns to office if you don't want your country to be a circus.
And that's what it is right now. It's a circus. And the people are the ones who are being left as the fools, and we have to wake up to this fact. We are not just these people, and we keep saying it, these people just not walking in the damn parliament or any one of these public offices just on a whim, just by waking up and doing so. It's the greater part of the population that has put that into motion and allowed these people.
No, but you see, they're getting conned by jokers like Daryl Duku, who getting paid wassa money to fool PNM people, or Rhoda Barrett, who getting paid as a crisis manager. Hear that? With NLCB money. All of this is backhand bribery and bubble. Taking public funds to pay political operatives to distract and misdirect people. That's what that is. And they're not the only ones. Don't think for a minute that these are the only eater food artists outside there telling you that shit is sugar, or that when they pissing on your back, there's rain falling. They're not the only ones who looking for a party in power, eater food opportunity. But you now have to suss nonsense. You have a responsibility to yourself, your family, and your country. You have to tell what is nonsense. And when Rhoda Barrett was paid $15,000 a month with NLCB money to challenge Anthony Carmona about the champagne or the wine or whatever it was that misbehavior with public funds? Who is giving her this money to do this? She on 102 today with Steve Kahn stunting, attacking Philip Alexander, paid to attack. Oh, you're still on the speakerphone. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. This is PEP, sir.
This is the PEP.
Yes, morning.
the government banned the styrofoam because they had passed that in the budget, and I see a lot of restaurants still using the styrofoam.
Did you get your bulbs?
Sorry?
Did you get your bulbs?
Did I get my?
Your incandescent LED bulbs. Did they come and change your bulbs and put in the LED bulbs as yet?
No, I'm finding out about the styrofoam.
No, well, I'm thinking that you still have the old bulbs. The Styrotex was as much nonsense as the bulbs.
Oh, because I hear they said they banned the styrofoam, and now everybody's still using the styrofoam, so I don't know.
That was just a stunt.
So the budget is not the law when they pass these things. It's not the law, or it's just like something they say on the news and I hear night.
It's like assuming Dr. Rowley is a doctor like Dr. Pepper is a doctor. It's not real. It's meant to fool you.
So when they say they raise people pay and they're cutting this and they're cutting that, these things is what? Is a joke then?
Well, partner, if you ain't get your bulbs yet, that is what I'm telling you. And I'm sorry to say it that way. Because the government that is in office and the opposition that is there to keep them in check, the both of them seem to be playing a game of drunken windball cricket. You could have
It really sad Trinidad still using the styrofoam. No other country in the world using the styrofoam. Then when we flood out next 2-3 months, they would say, oh, now they're going to try to ban it.
But no, styrofoam is not what causing. Styrofoam is not what causing the flooding. What causing the flooding and clogging up the waterways is the plastic bottles. But they ain't gonna touch that because the plastic bottle users financing them. So, but
you
I thought
ban that too. They ban that too in government offices.
we need a ban. We need
Government workers taking the case of water and carrying it home for the family to drink. So you want to give them water in a pitcher and keg.
Thank you for that, my friend.
All right, later.
And I don't even know how to operate this phone.
I'm watching it.
We have a low information voter. We people and the government knows that. So they stand fair. So they're telling you the workers in the government office taking them the water is not the problem. But there are so many things that are the problem, and it starts and ends with Tony appealing that the people do better and think better and vote better. And the 66% of the people who did not vote for either of the clunkers in the last local government election, we're relying on you to come out and vote for an effective and real government. Look, it's not going to be easier. They're going to have some adjustments. You have to adjust the country to fix it. But if we don't do it now, what is it going to take? When you hear the mess, I mean, the people who woke up in Venezuela and call one another, your supermarket open? No, I was not open. I was only I was have army people and they only taking US dollars. That anyway. Hello, good morning. Welcome to Pep Talks in the morning.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Alexander, and of course your fellow
Morning.
party members. Tell me something though, I'm just wondering, if you guys were ever in power, right, seriously, ever in power, how would you treat with the crime situation? How would you go about at least alleviating it, reducing it, not even acceptable level, but just to get it down a little? Do you all have a crime plan?
We absolutely we absolutely do.
I don't want to sound cynical or anything. I was just wondering.
You have every right. You have every right under the sun to sound cynical. Sound as cynical as you need, and as soon as you finish with the question, I'll answer it for you.
That's it. I would love to get some feedback from you guys.
You're following the show live, right?
Of course I am.
So we can hang up the call and you'll take the answer live, right?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, bye. All right, so there are a lot of issues where our crime situation is concerned. Let's attack it. The main one is the issue of poverty in a country this wealthy, that the poverty, the mind-numbing, squalid poverty that has people making desperate choices and providing human resource to the criminal gangs and to the cocaine importers and money launderers. We need to deal with the poverty. We need to deal with that from a social development master plan, proper economic financial plan, coming back to that. But you need to know that you can't lock up and lock down your way out of crime. You cannot. If You have a tsunami of people. As Helen Francis said, we are creating a bandit factory, and we are. And it's not that they're waking up wanting to go and play shoot 'em up, Charlie. They're waking up with no choices. They can't afford to live. And people who can't afford to live, whoever they are, if you're a Chamber of Commerce member this morning, farting through silk, 3 months from now, if your children are hungry and you can't feed them, I will see you jumping wall and kicking in door. Because it's either that or dead. And the human being we got to this point in our development, the top of the food chain, because we're not prepared to just dead. There are other issues that are affecting it. We have a mass of young people acting out. They have no guidance. We have no real male role models in a lot of these young men's lives, and the family broken. The poor mother outside there working 9 jobs a day. She had no time. Synergy TV telling them broke out and be a thug and a hoe. So gangs giving them the intimacy that all human beings want, a feeling of belonging and a feeling of accomplishment. You can't get a job. You can go and wrap sandwich and put mayonnaise on a Subway sandwich for minimum wage. And that can't buy you nothing in this country. And that can $2,800 a month. If you, whoever it is watching the show, had to seriously take $2,800 a month, and I'm assuming that it is $2,800 because that is the increased minimum wage. And if they didn't, then we're back to $2,550 a month. And if you had to try to pay rents, lights, phone, transport, food, school fees, anything else that you have to pay out to $2,500 a month, you'll see why people choosing to take a chance. Because when your rent get to the point where you're ducking the landlord and TNT come and cut the lights and you have hungry bellies to feed and you don't know where you're going, people get desperate. The country is run so badly. Our money has no value. You could pay people $25,000 a month if it can't buy them the basic needs, if you can't manage the cost of living, if the gap that between wages and what it costs to pay for a life in this country keeps growing outside of people's ability, this is going to get worse. But then you have the issue of a prime minister who announced to the nation 4 years ago that there were 37,000 illegal guns. He never said who did the stock check. He never said how he got that information. He just said that there were 37,000 illegal guns. And we took that and we accepted that. And he never said what was being done to get rid of those 37,000 illegal guns. And he never said if more guns were coming in. We have none of that information. We just have a number. 37,000 illegal guns that was used to sell newspapers and KFC on a headline on TV tonight. But we have no real government, so people don't understand what's being done for anything. The only one sensible decision that the government has made to date is to appoint Gary Griffith as Commissioner of Police. But without giving Gary Griffith the tools to actually do the job, might as well.
That is it right there. The tools to do the job. That is it right there.
If the Progressive Empowerment Party was in government, this morning you would wake up in a country where the nation's borders are secure.
Yes.
We would have established the maritime security wall, and in the meantime, before the maritime security wall was complete, to stop the drug trade, the gun trade, the contraband trade, and the human trafficking trade, while the maritime security wall, which is a repurposing of oil barges with customs, police, army, coast guard, immigration, equipped with fast attack helicopters, interceptor boats linked by the 360-degree radar and floating sonar buoys to prevent submarine, because the drug traffickers using submarines as well. They're using drones, they're using submarines. We need to be able to stop all marine craft 3 miles out at sea and inspect for contraband. We need to move the port of Port of Spain to a much larger facility and out of Port of Spain. It serves no purpose in Port of Spain. Move it to Point Lisas, to a much larger facility, and unstuff all containers. Right now, 40 to 50%, the same Prime Minister told us this, 40 to 50% of the containers come off the ship straight off the port without so much as a looking or a sniff. We need to unstuff all to make sure that what is on the manifest is in fact what they're importing. That the washing machines and the dryers not full with guns and cocaine, that the car parts is not gun parts, that the tires is not stuffed with drugs, that what is on the bill of lading and the manifest is actually what is in the container. We need to unstuff all containers on the port. I know DOMA not gonna like that, but DOMA is irrelevant to your reality right now, that the country is in a downward spiral, and that a caller would call and ask what we do about crime. The first thing you have to do is secure the nation's borders, and you have to secure the borders properly. So after that, you can't get a clump of charcoal into this country. You have to go through and land. We have people could, and I talk this all the time, you could jump on a boat in the yacht club, sail to Colombia, load yourself up with whatever you're selling, come back and nobody even look in your cooler to see what you're offloading. We need to stop that. We need to be able to police and manage like real world countries do, because if you want the crime to stop, you have to do the things to stop the crime. And if you want to test this theory, jump in a boat and drive up to New York City this morning, park wherever you want, and see how that work out for you. See how quickly you don't get holes in your new boat. Security borders is job one. But job one is also to create hope and opportunity for the human resource that is the criminal element. People are choosing crime because they have no other choices. Jobs is job one. The government is supposed to be making sure that there are jobs for the people outside of being baton twirling, KFC fries packing drones. We need to give people hope. That is what drove humanity forward. That will drive our people forward. That is what will take us out of this crime madness. Hope and opportunity. Real jobs, real careers, diversify the economy. All of this ties together. But Akil Camp said, and I remember when he said that when we were opening the ARIMA office, that all the PEP's policies work together to fix the country. That you have to fix the economy, you have to fix the value of the money, you have to create jobs, we have to secure the borders, and that's just the start. You need to clean up the police service. You need to give Gary Griffith the tools to clean up the police service, and one of those tools is an internal affairs division. Police in the United States of America don't afraid gang, they don't afraid terrorists, they don't afraid Martians, they afraid internal affairs. Internal affairs job is to lock up corrupt police. We have too many people washing them out in our police service for too long. There are a lot of good and decent police officers, and they shouldn't be castigated and painted with the same broad brush as the corrupt in the ranks. So clean up the police service. They cleaned up New York City, which was the murder capital of the world, and turned it into the tourist capital of the world. If they could clean up New York City Police Department, that is 65,000 police, they could clean up our 6,000 police in quick time. So we need to do that as well. These are the things that we need to put in place to end the scourge of crime. Put a bounty on the illegal guns. Once you've secured the nation's borders and there's no way to bring in more illegal guns, once all containers have to unstuff on the port, all the guns that come in as car parts done, all the guns that come in dog chow done, unstuff everything on the port. Once you secure the borders and you can't drive a boat up the Caribbean anytime you please, and you have to stop and be inspected, once those things are done and you can't bring in more guns, the 37,000 guns or whatever the latest stock check is, put a bounty on it. Give police $1,000 or $2,000 reward on every gun. Set aside $60 million for that, because when it's done, and melt those guns down, melt them down into raw steel, so that it can be put back into circulation. These are the types of things that need to be done to end crime holistically. But no government has come to office that wanted to treat with crime holistically. When crime allows you to write a budget entry of $9 billion a year for national security, for what? God alone knows. To my friend who called to ask if the Progressive Empowerment Party was in government, how we would solve crime, we would solve it effectively, and we will start immediately. Our first day, you will see all the news anchors down on the port saying, yes, there are 9 warships outside in the Gulf that they're here to help secure the nation's borders, while the maritime security wall, and we're running up to Piarco because the FBI and the New York City Police Department Internal Affairs Division have just landed, and they've come to assist us with getting rid of the corruption. Because you're not going to solve crime at the bottom if you're allowing crime at the top to prosper. prosper. White collar criminality in this country is the beating heart of all of our crime. And if we do not fix that, we're fighting against thunder. So we would make sure that we shut down the special purpose companies. Companies like UDCOT, Sport TT, EMBD, EFCL, we would shut them down completely. Not before auditing them to find out where our money went and go and get that back and drag the stunting pretenders before a functional court. All of these things have to be done simultaneously for crime to be solved. To say that there's anything else that could be done, they're lying to you. Tony?
Well said, well said. Very, very true. Very, very true. The hemorrhaging of our economy is taking place from most, if not all, these state bodies and, companies that's there.
White collar crime runs this country.
Yeah.
We have a rogues gallery. The Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, the current Prime Minister, who was the line minister of UDCOT until he was fired by Calder Hart, said to this nation, every school child in this country knows there is a thing called UDCOT and it stinks to high heavens. Keith Rowley said that in 2009 when he told the nation that I went to the Prime Minister in August 2003 and told him of massive bid rigging and corruption at UDCOT.
What changed from then to now? What changed then when that was said? No, this man is in office.
Boss, you know what I will never forgive Keith Rowley for? That he said that in 2009. He told the nation in 2009 that he went to the Prime Minister in August 2003 to tell him about corruption in UDCOT. And he didn't tell another soul.
But isn't that his
He draw his salary.
Isn't that his MO?
He draw his cabinet salary.
Yeah.
He eat cabinet food. He drink cabinet wine. He blue light his stunting ass all over the country. And his only... There was an election. Between 2006, 2003 and 2009, there was an election in 2007. 2007.
That's right.
And in 2007, Keith Rowley didn't tell the nation he had an opportunity. He had parliamentary privilege. He could have go to the media. He could have go to the police. He could have go to the Integrity Commission. He knew all the people he could have go to. Look, when he found email gate, he wrote the president. He could have go to anybody. He went to nobody. Between 2003 and 2009, he knew UDCOT was engaging in massive bid rigging and corruption and told nobody and allowed the country's funds to hemorrhage while he continued to feed his family at the trough. And I will never forgive Keith Rowley for that. He could say what he want. He's a damnable liar. He's used his position in public office to benefit himself and his friends, his family, and his finances. But nothing that comes out of that double-tongued deceiver's mouth you're supposed to be able to take seriously. Nothing. That is the truth.
It is the truth. The man has failed. This administration of the People's National Movement for this last tenure of term, it's the worst. It is the absolute worst that I've seen that the people have had to deal with as a government governing the affairs of 40 people. I mean, the Rowley administration have not a clue as to what it is they are truly doing. And if they do have a clue, the definite factor was that is the agenda is definitely not towards bringing any type of betterment to the people, because they have their own agenda.
But this is a country that voted against Pandey, Ish and Steve. So they voted Manning and Calder Hart, and then they voted out Manning and Calder Hart to give you Kamala and SIS, and then they voted out Kamala, SIS and Life Sport to give you Rowley and the feed and frenzy that's going on now. And we've never voted for a government. We've never voted for people with a vision for this country. We've been taught to vote, hate this one and hate what they're doing and hate their whole band. So vote against them, vote for that, settle for this. And we've been voting lesser evil bullshit for the past 57 years. And every time the evil get more,
every time it gets more. Correct. Correct.
And now the Heritage and Stabilization Fund practically empty.
Yeah.
We broke. The economy in shambles. You can't pay public servants. You're borrowing money. You're deficit financing every budget Our debt to GDP ratio is ridiculous. Nobody knows what your plans are to diversify the economy. The Prime Minister told the nation, this economy can't diversify.
Imagine that.
And the trolls. It can't diversify. The only country on the planet can't diversify.
Yeah. Imagine that.
Singapore is half the size of Trinidad and Tobago. They don't have oil, they don't have gas, they don't have pitch lake, they don't have Tobago, they don't have cocoa, they don't have honey, they don't have pepper. They have nothing we have. Half the size of Trinidad and Tobago. Their GDP is 322 billion US. Ours is 22. Ours is the dust their GDP is leaving behind. Half the size of Trinidad. Their economy just has eclipsed the United States of America as the most competitive economy in the world.
And Trinidad have all.
We have the largest brain coral in the world. We have the only nylon pool on the planet. We have the largest pitch lake in the world. We have the best cocoa on the planet. We have the best honey on the planet. We have the second hottest pepper on the planet. We have oil. We have gas. We are the only tropical destination outside of the hurricane belt. We should be dominating this part of the Western world in shipping, ship turning around, cruise ship tourism, marine craft berthing. We could diversify 1,000,000 times. All you need to do is use this finger properly, jam it in that ink, and vote these stunting jackasses out of office. That's how we do it.
That's it.
So those of you who think that when you listen to him, see that is paid clap, that is paid applause. 200 of them that clapping for a sandwich and a juice and a ride in a maxi. Don't be fooled. Yeah. This country is what it is because of failures at government who've just come in there representing special interests that have been turning projects into contracts for fat pockets and bank accounts so the children could stunt and drive PDX BMW this morning while your children belly growling.
Very true. Very true. Trinidad and Tobago, change is here and the choice is yours. Simple thing. At the end of the day, you need the information. We are trying our utmost best to present that information to the public space for you as citizens to know what your rights are and the direction you really need to go. I mean, we can't continue doing this Trinidad and Tobago. Really and truly. We strive to jump on a Caribbean Airlines or whichever airlines to go to a first world nation. We don't need to do that. We can have that right here 10 times over better than what there is presented outside there in the world. It's really up to us as a nation to truly come together and remove this type of division that we have within our society and really speak in one voice, speak as one people under one flag. Again, I keep asking, show me who is Moses on this ground that we call Trinidad and Tobago, because if there is a tsunami, I know for a fact it's everybody getting washed away. I know nobody that part in no ocean. And if you do know of someone who's parting an ocean here in Trinidad, please let me know.
You're not going up in the FET Academy?
In the FET Academy.
And the FET Academy is a anti-tsunami shelter. I want Manning at full there, man.
Oh my
Right, I don't catch what he's talking about.
Somebody just write, well, if that caller wasn't satisfied with that response to his crime question. No, but we holistic and we understand it. We understand how the thing works. We understand how it works. We understand that the banking sector is running amok in Trinidad and Tobago because there are no financial service regulations, so your money worth shit. We understand that the spread on the foreign exchange shouldn't be 13%. It is putting an unnecessary tax, an unnecessary increase on the value of everything that we buy in this country. We know that banks are supposed to be paying interest on depositors' funds. That banks are not supposed to be charging rapacious fees they're charging. We know that that's not going to happen until you vote a government into office that are not beholden to the Bankers Association of Trinidad and Tobago's members, that will open this economy to competition. 9 more banks, 10 more banks. Let's get into national banks, large banks. We don't only have to settle for Republic, RBC and Scotia. We could bring more. They are better all over the world. And when you bring competition, they have banks. Somebody sent me a thing that they just get in New York. You go and open an account and the bank put in $600 in your account. Just open the account. Well, I wanted to just go and get me $600.
Yeah.
But Tony. But that's exactly it. The first bank that tried in Trinidad, they got dream. The first bank will be a casualty of Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah, but seriously, Competition. From the time you have competition causes people, it improves services and it lowers prices. That's what competition does. We need to have 5 beer companies in Trinidad. We need to be manufacturing in Trinidad and Tobago, Corona and Heineken and Coors and all of them who want to come and set up factories and compete with Caribbean Style and sell at the same price. And let's see then if this is really a good beer. But that's not my argument. My argument is that if Carib could create employment and export from Trinidad, why we don't have 5 and 10 other factories doing the same? We could do that for them as well. And you need to break past this idea, exorcise this narrative from your mind that the people are powerless. You're not. 1.4 million of you own this country. And if you vote a government into office that could throw open the drapes and open the window and let fresh air into this dank and fetid country, we could get somewhere. Today,
very true. Very, very true.
We're going to take one last break so that Satish could pay some bills. And when we come back, it'll be That's a Wrap. And Felicia and Tony will be leading the conversation on where we go from here, plans that we have for the party, etc. when we come back.
Antel is Trinidad's most reliable and technically experienced ICT company, providers of quality structured cabling, Cat6 data fiber and power cables. We also stock cabling infrastructure basket-type cable trays for server rooms and data centers. Antel also installs and maintains video security systems including cameras, alarms and electronic entrance locks for businesses and residential properties. Call Antel 674-1406 or 783-9250.
Hey! There we go! What is? Check it out! 9 o'clock in the morning. 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 9 o'clock on the dot. And you can't reach the work. Why? There's a flood on the road. 9 o'clock on the dot. You're in the same spot. Why? Organized crime. It's organized crime. Everywhere you turn. Crime and more crime. White collar crime. Blue collar crime. No collar crime. We running out of time. There we go now. 9 o'clock in the morning. 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 9 o'clock on the dot. No food in the pot. Why? 9 o'clock in the day. You can't see your way. Why? Traffic on the highway. Traffic on the highway. 9 o'clock on the dot. No food in the pot. Bills, bills, bills and more bills. Pills, pills, pills and more pills. Nothing to work, 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 nothing to work. $3 trillion spent, nothing to show. That's how it go in a land named Trinbago. Check this. Nothing to work, nothing to work, nothing to work, nothing. Public health fail, public works fail, local government fail, central government fail. Nothing to work, 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 nothing. kitchen, no gas in the car, no water in the pipe. Everybody by the bar, hole in the pavement, hole in your shoe, hole in your wallet. There's only holes for you. Nothing no work, 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 nothing no work. When she hold it like that, when she hold it like that, the whole country in a hole, everything out of control. Gunman and she hold it like that.
And we're back.
Yes, we are.
Exactly, fellas, sit down.
I'm reading the Trinidad and Tobago Crime and Safety Report being put out by the United States of America. I will wait for Stuart Young to call it fake news before I put it in the public space. It's fake news.
It's just a sad state of affair. In Trinidad, we just need to really usher in the change that we need to have the country that we really want. It's a simple thing. And the, the political bodies that's out there before that we've known thus far, and I'm directly referring towards the UNC and PNM, really has not seeked the interests of the people, has not brought Trinidad to a place where we are a first world nation, for example. I mean, look, you have the PNM agenda since Manning days of 2020. I heard Rowley talk some garbage the other day about, well, actually, it was not the other day. It was them coming into office when they were in opposition, about all the plans and policies that they had in bringing Trinidad to a place of a first world status, trying to stay in line with their 2020 vision. Well, we are in 2020, Mr. Rowley, and I don't see any change. In fact, things have gotten worse. Our value of our dollar is gone. Cost of living has gone up. The health sector is gone to hell. Crime is going totally out of control. Education making no type of sense anymore. I mean, what are we to do here? Is this the 2020 vision that we've been striving for since Manning? Is this what we were talking about? Is this the first world country, or have we gone beyond first world right now? We have to create a new number? Or is it a zero world?
The irony of this being the year that Trinbagonians looked forward to for so long. Because, I mean, since I was hearing about Vision 2020. And it's here, and it's so anticlimactic. It's so the opposite of everything and everywhere we thought we would have been. You look around and you said it just now, we're failing in every single area. Somebody trying to call us on
but I don't understand how to use that phone, so I apologize. Call us back now, or you can call us on 682-2110 or on 688-4012. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Everything is just on its head. It's just upside down. It's not working. I will never forget and never grow tired of talking about this man, Christopher Phillip, crawling around and dying on alone, and I can't forget it, because to me it was the perfect indication of just how
failed him, Shannon Banfield, Asami Agasaki. These are all Akil Chambers, Daniel Guerra, Amy Anamaturo. These are all names that will live in infamy. People who've lost their lives for this country. And the country did not take care of them. The country didn't take care of them. And we, as it's ridiculous and unacceptable that he said the phone was ringing. I don't know who that was calling. I apologize. I tried to answer it, and I'm happy I didn't mash up the phone. This is what brand of phone is this?
A Motorola.
Well,
it's not your iPhone. So
hey. No, don't say it like that. It's taken a while for me to learn a phone. When I switched from BlackBerry to this iPhone...
They don't knock Motorola. Motorola was actually one of the pioneers for cell phone technology. Yes.
Hold on to your Motorola shares. Nobody knocking Motorola. That is not what was happening here. She was insulting me, not Motorola. It take me about a month to switch from BlackBerry to more than a month to the iPhone. I was lucky I was answering the calls and people call.
Hold on to your Motorola.
The man.
I ain't say hold on to no Motorola. Anyway.
The way he jump on himself. Like he got a message from the team. Oi. We in Motorola are unimpressed.
Hold on, is it? Do we pause for plug?
No plug.
We have a Motorola address.
It's just, we do have a Motorola phone in the studio. So I mean,
quit while you're ahead. Quit while you're ahead. What's your phone?
iPhone, brother.
Nobody bring a Samsung to say we all inclusive.
No. Actually, I'm rocking on.
We read Apple in today.
Apple, if you see we are advertising, feel free to drop it.
Some
sponsorship.
Yeah, but they get watch. They get
Yeah.
They have 4 Apple devices in here. Look, drop something before and Huawei. They're spending money. So Huawei, we got we gotta send people to train me because I stupid like that.
Oh gosh.
Today was part 2, 744 in Trinidad and Tobago, the Royal Imperial Majestic Banana Republic of do what the hell you like land. And this is our second episode of Pep Talks, and some of you may find that it is a lighter version of what we do. We still bring out a lot of hardcore information. We still deal with current affairs and news. But as we start here today, and I'm going to give you a little chuckle too, because this country is so depressing to live in right now. The news is so frightful. There is nothing bringing hope. Every now and then you watch the news and they come on with some little cherry to tell you the world likes our accent. That ain't doing jack all for we. We need a country that works. And the purpose of this show is to keep holding their feet to the fire. You're getting paid to do the job, Rowley. The buck stops with you. No matter which one of your trolls come to tell me about this is not your responsibility and that is not your responsibility, everything is your responsibility. Everything. You are in charge. You are capo, tito, capo. You are the boss of bosses this morning. Wake up and do your job. Or fire yourself. I think the nation would really love the second option. But for as long as you're Prime Minister, address the issues now. Address the issues properly. The Progressive Empowerment Party has a holistic suite of plans, programs, policies, and ideas that will redevelop this country in quick time. If you're fed up of suffering the side effects and symptoms of PNM and UNC, vote PEP.
Well said.
I loved how that came out.
I
want you to clip that, Satish.
Yes, please.
Symptoms and side effects.
PNM and UNC vote PEP.
That's
why you have the corner office.
Yeah.
Please, don't worry, kicking them out just now.
To replace it.
Well, I thought we were getting the condominium.
Let me tell her this.
It's not an office anymore.
No, but joke is joke. But the reality is, we do have succession planning in the Progressive Empowerment Party. This party has a chairman, a deputy chairman, 2 deputy political leaders. We are waiting to appoint a 3rd deputy political leader. Right now, the person is being trained to manage themselves and our policies as effectively as the rest of them do. You need to be able to take all the hits that come with this, and a lot of people not set up for that. That's the biggest training, The biggest training is to develop alligator hide, elephant skin, to be able to take all the drama. A fellow named Matthew Z. Williams just had to get a small block on Facebook for coming to say it's not the Prime Minister's job to go and take a nap. Well, I will take my nap this morning, friend. But that doesn't mean that it is not the Prime Minister's job. And until you and others like you get it, that what the tone and the timber and the tenor of this country is set by those on high will continue to flail around aimlessly. Yeah? But we do have a real structured organization, and right after the distraction of Carnival, we have some even bigger plans for 2020 to raise the profile of the Progressive Empowerment Party and continue to grow the fastest growing political movement in this country's history. I mean, we've had to deal with all manner of drama, more pre-action protocol letters than any other organization in this country's history. We've had to have character assassination, defamation, media blackout. What they didn't do, they form a political party to pass themselves off as us. What we didn't face.
They ain't fair. That is just to show that they are in fear, Philip. The system is in fear of a Progressive Empowerment Party administration, because what has been normal practice will be no more.
And for all of those who are thinking of joining all the existing political organizations, political movements that are realizing, if you really have love of country and want a better Trinidad and Tobago, and you're realizing that you need to be part of the PEP, call us today. 682-2110, 769-4590, 788-4012. Call us and let's have a conversation. Let's get you involved. We're willing to work with everybody once country first is your motivation. Once a better Trinidad and Tobago is what drives you. Regardless of which political party you was a member of before, just cut up that card and come and join the PEP. Orange looks good on everybody.
That's the hot color. That's the color for 2020.
Motorola bringing out orange.
Joker.
He have jokes. Imagine if Motorola does launch an orange phone.
Hey.
Say Tony have shares in True.
I wish.
Felicia, we still getting messages and calls, but we outside of the call time. But I still
I'll take it.
Somebody just wrote me, do you know if prison officers and soldiers can openly express their support for a political party? Also, what is considered to be open support? Is it just going up as a candidate or a political party? Well, I understand that a police officer was screened by the PNM and he was given the opportunity to, before they internally fired him. But the fact that he allowed himself to be screened and was quoted in the media as publicly saying that he fully supports that political party and everything it stands for flies in the face of his
neutrality.
No, but of the rules that govern him being a police officer.
That's right.
I think that investigations have been launched and I think a precedent is about to be set.
At least we hope it's set.
Good morning, Mr. Alexander. I'm 20 and I live in Fairway, supposedly one of the safest places in Trinidad, and yet I don't feel safe. Right now, you're the only hope for this country. Thank you. I don't know why there are not more people on your side, especially from these underdeveloped areas. Actually, they are, and you would know that if we were getting the media we were entitled to. Where crime is the norm. Where crime is the norm. Underdeveloped areas where crime is the norm. I want to answer this guy. Fairway is not free of crime. It's a different type of crime. I hope you can convince the people of the country of what is going on in regards to this corrupt government that the population are so oblivious to. You are the hardest working politics, as you say. You have my vote. Thanks for that. But we need to get to a place where we stop separating ourselves into underdeveloped and developed and all that drama, because this was the third wealthiest nation in the Western world. And we shouldn't have people living in the kind of conditions the at-risk and hotspot communities are. Those people should all be millionaires. They were shareholders in Trinidad and Tobago.
Phil, when you listed out earlier every single thing that Trinidad and Tobago has going for us, all I was thinking in my head is, and I mean, it might sound very simplistic, but all I was thinking is, so then why are we so poor? And when I say why are we so poor, why are people living? Somebody posted the other day that we can't talk about poverty because people still buying carnival costumes. I said, then you have not met people who really live poor lives, people who literally waking up in the morning because they went to bed hungry, trying to figure out how they're going to survive today, how they're going to provide for the children.
But your Minister of Finance referred to 200,000 people that he affected with $2.50 an hour, the minimum wage. How could we have 200,000 people making minimum wage in this country? How? Our minimum wage is a joke. Continue what you're saying.
I watched a security officer, a female security officer outside of a bank, I went to Paulie Bank, and it's the middle of the day and this lady clearly probably works another shift and she's there, and I like to watch people and just from her whole posture, her whole demeanor. Alright, somebody's having problems with their chair.
I need a new chair.
So let's wait for that to happen.
I think Tony sabotaged my chair. After the show, we're gonna check it. No, you continue.
Trying to have a real serious one. And I'm watching this lady and she's half asleep. What? You done?
You're distracted now. Come on, stop.
She's half asleep at her job, and I could look at her and just tell her story. Probably have 2 children at home, none maybe, but she just looking like this is my life and this is what I have to settle for. And I'm looking at her. She's young, a young woman, and I'm thinking. But every other female security guard, sometimes I see them leaving for work at all kind of hours, coming back at all kind of hours, and you think about what it means for their family life and the children that they're bringing up. Is there a father at home? Is there not? Are the children being sent to school? Because that's an issue that I'm seeing now. I'm hearing a lot of children not enrolled in a school program, and then we wonder.
But the children in danger. You send your children to school to get raped?
And that's the next thing. You're sending them to school, they're in danger. They're home, they're in danger. And again, for everything that we are, for everything that we have, for everything that we claim to be, why do we have people living like this?
A security guard was on her way to work on Mother's Day, and a police officer who had 7 pit bulls, they got away and they killed her. She was on her way to work on Mother's Day.
I remember that.
And she was killed by pit bulls. And that's why I fought so hard for that Dangerous Dog Act. And I get relics for that. But since that Dangerous Dog Act was proclaimed, all of the pit bull killings went away. Because all of the people who had, and people are going to tell you, but it's not the breed or be breed specific. It's not that. It's irresponsible people who were breeding these dogs to be vicious. I was reading ads on social media that were actually taking credits for kills. That it's sired by this and this one who were, and this is a crazy country where, I mean, the first person I knew, the owner of the property where a senior member of an insurance company was living in Knightsbridge in Cascade, and the first 2 people that was murdered by dogs, I call it murder by dog, they had the same name, the 2 guys.
Really?
One was in Four Roads and one was in Knightsbridge in Cascade, and both of them were killed by pit bull dogs, and both of them had the same name, and that's really coincidental and weird. But it took so long to address a problem that should have been addressed earlier. Put the responsibility for all dogs, not just pit bulls, all dogs, all dangerous dogs, any dogs. Yes, a Pekingese could kill you under the right circumstances. Listen, pump all your brakes. You know, no, a Chihuahua will kill you too. Even a Chihuahua will bite your ankle to death. Yes, all right, okay, cool, good. We get that. But it comes down to responsibility. If you have a dangerous dog and it kills somebody or it maims somebody, your responsibility. It's not the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there should have always been laws that said so. A German Shepherd had escaped from somebody's yard and rip open this little 11 boy. Yeah. Rip open his belly, 11-year-old boy, and all his intestines was in the ground and things. This is Trinidad and Tobago. This is a lawless, failed nation, a government after government. And again, I want to tell this caller who's sounding cynical, you have a right to be cynical. I am cynical. I expect when I go into every public office that it's going to fail me. To the point where if you go and you get a license, your driver's permit renew in an hour, you're posting that on Facebook. The country working. You know? Because if an ambulance coming under 2 hours, you win the lotto.
Yeah. Win the lotto is joke. Win the lotto is joke. If you could go in a bank and go in and finish what you're going there to do in 30 minutes, man, hallelujah.
450 murders in the country, 540 murders in the country. We arguing semantics. But New York City, that has 8 times the people, their murder rate was 126. And they had meeting after meeting and symposium after symposium how to reduce that number further. We have a higher kill rate than countries at war. And we get caught up in the wrong things. If it could fix in New York City, why it can't fix here? Why this country, nothing to work? Why? Sing this song. I think Sati should take you. You play a song for the day?
Play, you put it in my head.
But nothing now. That's the truth.
That's true.
That is the legacy of 57 years. And don't tell me who was there longer than who. At the end of the day, the reality that is presented to you this morning, you woke up in a country where the money in your pocket, valueless, your job not safe, you not safe, your home not safe. The people who burned to death in the house because the fire service, the fire station didn't have a fire engine. We just let these things go. And we leave people to mourn. There should be a wall built with just all the names. You see how they do for 9/11 and how they do for the Vietnam War? I would do that. As Prime Minister, I would find the names of all the victims of government ineptitude and incompetence and put their names so that you know that we remember. We remember everybody who died needless deaths in this country that failed because of the jackasses we voted into office.
Yeah.
On a higher note, what else is going on right now that you need the public to know? Because it's 7:59 and you could take us in with good news.
What is going on?
In PEP.
It's carnival time and clearly we are not on a break because we wake in here every morning. What is happening in PEP? We have...
I think right now the only thing that's really important is to get people to donate some funds.
The finance team is fully functional, working extremely hard to raise the profile of the party through funding because most of our money, 80% I would say of our money goes into communication, goes into things like these shows, goes into this backdrop, goes into this microphone, goes into broadcasting the show to you.
Into our Motorola
on Facebook and hopefully one day on television. But we are all about communicating the PEP, raising the profile of the party, and to do that we need your help, we need your donations, we need your funding. If you can't fund, somebody was asking me the other day, told me that they only had $20. I said, dude, that was $20 more than we had yesterday.
Indeed.
Any amount that you have, people, $1, $5, $2. The Obama campaign was one on people giving their $2 and their $3 because they believed in something. They had hope for a better country, a country where there was hope and opportunity for all. That is what we are trying to bring to Trinidad and Tobago, to the citizens. Hope and opportunity for all. To do that, we need your help. You don't have to join us. You don't have to be a frontline person. You could do it anonymously. You can do it in the background. But stand up and support what you believe in. Help finance the party. Help fund our mission and help us get into office to fix all of the things that we spoke about this morning that are not working in the country. And that's just my piece.
Closing comments.
Thank you very much for having me on the show this morning. It was much easier than I anticipated. You all owe me breakfast and I wait.
That's happening, but you're here because we're going to rotate as hosts. Closing comments.
Trinidad and Tobago, thanks again for having us. Yes, and it's my first show.
Of two.
And it was a lot of fun actually, very informative, and I hope that it was some level of assistance to you in giving you more information for yourself to make better decisions. Again, we are doing all of this not just for ourselves, it's for the country on a national level, for every citizen, 1.4 million of you, or us I should say. Again, last simple thing, save TNT, vote PEP.
PEP selling Valentine flowers this year, the PEP ladies?
They're supposed to be, yes.
Yes, so you will. Well, I guess, when is Valentine's?
14th.
Single people don't know that.
What is today?
What's today, 11th?
Today's 11th, so it's this week?
Yeah. Friday.
Good luck, everybody. Good luck.
It's Friday.
Good luck to you, man.
Easy.
That's all I'm going to say.
Pump the brakes.
Yeah, pump brakes.
Pump your brakes. The ladies of the PEP will be selling Valentine's flowers again. It's something that they do to raise funds.
Yeah.
And so Jennifer, Keisha, Lema, well, the leaders, Lema and Adasa. So I guess we could get that information. Maybe Satish will add it to the show somewhere. And
in the meantime, if you are interested though, and you would like to get a rose for your significant other or whoever, 347-4737, just give me a call and I will direct your order. Tony, I forgot to plug Motorola in the end.
Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. Margaret Mead said that. Somebody else said, and I can't remember who, but I'll find out. I know somebody will find out as I say it and send me the name. A few good people is all that stands between us and the darkness, and I believe that. Trinidad and Tobago is heading down a dark, dark road, and we need all of the good people. You outnumber the bad people. I need you to wake up, stand up, and speak up. We need to join together as one people under one flag and work together for the better Trinidad and Tobago that we all always knew we always needed. To the Trinidadians and Tobagonians based abroad, pining to come back home, wanting Trinidad and Tobago to be the first world nation that you've grown accustomed to but is still home, you need to help us. Reach out to Felicia. We need your financial support, and you also need to make sure that you can be available when we get into government, to make yourselves available to come and serve. Trinis know Trinidad better than anybody. We want a better country for all, and that is the intention. So until tomorrow.
Yes. Stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.
6 o'clock in the morning.
Hey, let's start that.
Nothing to
Trinidad and Tobago is in a crisis. For far too long, our people have been abused and silenced by our politicians and the business elite.
Just look around you. People are losing their jobs. Crime is at an all-time high. Our justice, education, and health systems have failed.
We all know the truth. Behind all that is wrong in our country, corruption is destroying us. Billions of our dollars are being looted by a small group of business people that use our politicians to divide and distract us,
so they can take what they want, leaving us with no hope for a better country.
All of this is because we've never had leaders who seek the interests of the citizenry as their first priority.
I am here because I'm not taking it anymore.
I am here because I am not taking it anymore.
I am fed up of politics as it is in Trinidad and Tobago.
It is time we elect leaders with the backbone and the love of our people to go after the corrupt, evil elements in our country, hell-bent on serving their own pockets while we suffer.
And it is time that we as a nation take a collective stand against wrongdoing.
So we are making a plea to the nation to rally behind us.
Because our freedom of speech is being threatened by those who don't want us speaking out on these issues.
A man that I greatly respect is one of those leaders fighting for a better country. His name is Philip Edward Alexander, and he has bravely challenged the people and institutions that are destroying our nation.
To date, he has been threatened with 5 lawsuits for having the courage to ask state agency UDCOT on why the renovations of the President's house cost $89 million.
When experts in the field have estimated that that job should have never crossed 20 million.
Where did the rest of our money go?
We refuse to stand by and allow any agency to use our courts to try and silence and punish Philip or any other citizen of our country for trying to seek the truth.
If you're fed up of corruption and want to be a part of real change, support Philip and the Progressive Empowerment Party in this fight.
This fight is not for him or us to bear alone.
It is a fight for you, our loved ones, and our friends.
It is a fight for the future of our country.
You can help by making a contribution to Philip's legal fees and help him and PEP expose the truth and shine light over the darkness of corruption.
Go to our website at peptt.com, click on donate and see all the ways you can pitch in.
There is hope. Our country can be saved, but we all need to stand together. My name is Felicia Holder, Chairman of the Progressive Empowerment Party, and I support Philip Edward Alexander and the PEP.
I support Philip Edward Alexander and the PEP.
I support Philip Edward Alexander and the PEP.
I support.
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 I support Philip Edward Alexander and the PEP.